Wydek welcoming you to Game 4 of this Best of 5 series between these two gladiators, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you saw last game, and I'll get to that in a moment. But this game is on Derelict Watcher, and in the bottom left, spawning as the Blue Terran, representing Spain and Mouse Sports, we've got Lucifron. And his opponent, spawning in the top right as the Red Zerg, representing Team Millennium and the United States of America, we've got Goswser. As I was alluding to just recently, you guys should really check out Game 3 if you want to check a 74-minute, yeah, that's right, a 74-minute slugfest between these two champions. Neither player wanted to give an inch until Lucifron was actually giving way a few inches at a time to Goswser. As basically halfway through the game, there is a line drawn across half the map, and neither player could really advance, and Goswser was just advancing just a little bit at a time until the entire map was entirely mined out, basically, and Lucifron wasn't able to hold his position anymore, and Goswser was able to come up with the victory, and that's very important for Goswser, simply because he was down 2-0, and now he has a breath in this series. He's still down 2-1. Lucifron still has the advantage. So this game, we're going to have to see if it's going to go for another 74 minutes. Hopefully not. It's a little bit tough on the voice, as Lucifron is going for 14cc on the high ground, and he's going to block it off with the barracks. The drone was not able to scout, which is a good thing for Lucifron. Not able to see whether or not he got gas or not, and that can be very important. Goswser does have the hatchery halfway done at his expansion. No spawning pool yet, and I like this play from Goswser. He's going for 3 hatch before pool. So Goswser is going to be very economically inclined. The pool is going down finally at the 3.5 minute mark. It'll be interesting to see how Lucifron is going to respond to this if he's able to scout it out. And he's sending the SCV. The SCV will arrive very soon to Goswser's natural. Able to see the hatchery just as it pops out. And this SCV is looking around for structures. Doesn't see any extractors. He's got to be thinking something strange going on, and he sees the late spawning pool. So Lucifron should know there is a third hatchery on the way. And in fact, the SCV is not going to confirm this suspicion. I'm a little bit surprised, but what do I know? Lucifron is a professional player. He might just know. He doesn't need to check. And Lucifron is going to check around for stray overlords, as he just checked out Goswser's base and knows there's no incoming aggression for at least a little bit. As the first extractor is just being built right now, the third hatchery is up for Goswser. And this is one of the advantages for the Terran player when the Zerg player is not going for early Zergling speed. Now that factory is going to get attached to that reactor, and I suspect Lucifron is going to be pumping out Hellions en masse to get map control. There we go, 2 Hellions are in production, and Lucifron's going to go for an early third command center as well. So anything you can do, I can do the same. So both players are ramping up the economic game. In fact, they don't have really any army. Both players have very little for army. Lucifron only has 2 Marines and 2 Hellions. Goswser only has 2 Zerglings. Goswser was not able to see that third command center. It would have been nice to see that from Goswser's standpoint, but he was not able to see that. The 2 Hellions are going to run up to the third hatchery, but that Queen is going to be able to scare away the preliminary harassing force from Lucifron. And now with the roaches out, these Hellions are not going to be very effective at harassing. Stim pack is on the way for Lucifron, and his third orbital is being upgraded. And like I said before, we're only at the 7.5 minute mark, and both players have 3 mining bases, while Lucifron will once he lifts off and moves the orbital. The Hellions here are trying to do some damage to the Hellions, but that's not a good move by Lucifron. He's losing 1 Hellion basically for free. And I really like the formation here by Goswser. He has roaches on the left and the right, and he's got the queen in the middle. The Hellions are not going to be able to move into any base, either the third or the natural of Goswser. The Hellions are just going back and forth right now. They're just chilling out, trying to get in. Double evolution chambers are coming down. +1 bioweapons is being researched by Lucifron, and actually with armor as well. So the upgrade advantage is going to go to Lucifron, and once that stim is done, his bioforce is going to be very effective. The Hellions are going to be able to get rid of 1 active creep tumor. There are still 2 left, so not a big loss by Goswser. And his lair is almost complete. A money scan does go down for Lucifron. He's able to see the lair almost being completed. And he sees the roach warren, but he's not able to see anything else. And he did not see the baneling nest. And this is where Lucifron needs to be a little bit diligent in scouting out his opponent, because he only has 1 bunker. And this could be a baneling timing. As the Hellions are being chased away again by those aforementioned roaches. And there are no drones being created, so this is going to be a timing attack by Goswser. And like I said, there's only 1 bunker at the natural. There's no bunkers at the third, and there's nothing at the main either. And if this is indeed a timing attack, as Zergling speed is halfway done, centrifugal hooks are being researched as well as speed for the roaches. Lucifron could be in for a lot of pain. And if you take a look at the supplies, there is a significant supply advantage for Goswser. The Hellions are going to come in here. A scan goes down. At least 1 tumor is going to be able to get cleaned up by the Hellions. The second one does get cleaned up as well. And unfortunately, these Hellions are just marching into their doom. 1 Hellion does go down, and 3 are able to escape. And a macro hatch is also being constructed at the third for Goswser, so he's going to be committing to this attack, it looks like. Lucifron is moving on with his bioforce. He's going to pick off 3 roaches, so good pickup by Lucifron. This queen is also... well, not also. It is destroyed immediately, and Lucifron needs to be wary of this. He's confronting the Zerg on the creep. That's not a great position generally. The roaches have a great concave, and now with the banelings behind all that, Lucifron is going to have to pick up and boost away in those medevacs. And he is going to dump on the third, or he was going to, but there are spore crawlers and spine crawlers, so he thinks better of it. But just look at this army, and Lucifron's able to scan, able to see the huge army coming his way, and now he's going to be building bunkers. And unfortunately, this is going to be 40 seconds too late. He's going to dump into the third anyways. The Zerglings are surrounding, but Goswser's force is going to get taken out. But at the same time, Goswser has this big baneling Zergling roast army right here, and the bunkers are not even a third complete. And those bunkers are not going to finish. Now with only 1 bunker at the ramp, this is going to go down in a flurry. Excuse me. The banelings are getting awesome connections on the Marines. All the Marines are getting eaten up, and they're melting away. And even though there is some damage done to the third, all the roaches are inside the natural of Lucifron, and Lucifron is hiding up above the ramp, trying to get some pot shots on those roaches, but the roaches have so much life. The mines are going to burrow, but the roaches have already done significant damage. You take a look at the supplies. With a 35 supply advantage, this factory is also going to go down. And the Marines are charging in here. Roaches are spitting acid. They're all melting away. The Marines are not able to do enough damage. With 1 Marauder in this composition, Lucifron is in a lot of trouble. These roaches are in the orange and red. And now the Goswser user is going to have to retreat. But he's not actually going to retreat. He's just going to retreat into the third of Lucifrons. And finally, these Marines are going to be able to clean up these roaches, but another pack of Zerglings are going to come in here and get the surround on these Marines. Mine's able to get decent hit, but the stream of Zerglings are just rampaging in here. There's not enough Marines to keep them away. The Zerglings are just chomping away at all these Marines. Another bio unit force is going to come in here and try and clean up these Zerglings and roaches, but there's so many Zerglings and roaches, and they're just marching in here. And Lucifron is going to have to pick up with the Medivacs, microwaving the Marines from certain doom and pulling SCVs off the line now, and that's never a good thing as that really delays mining time. And Goswser user, during all his offensive attacks, has been able to attain his 4th base as well and is still putting on significant pressure. He's getting his 2-2 upgrades. Lucifron already has 2-2, but he lost a lot of mining time, he lost a lot of SCVs, and now with this big flock of Mutalisks, we got 15 Mutalisks hunting down all these mules, and the SCVs are defenseless. The Mutalisks have already done significant damage, but they are not that good against Marines, but it doesn't seem to matter. This bunker wall is once again not complete at the time that Goswser user is coming in here, and Goswser user is going to exploit that. With all these Banelings marching in here with the roaches behind, these Marines are going to have significant problems. Goswser user is going to retreat for in the meantime, but at the same time, he has his flock of Mutalisks harassing the 3rd base of Lucifron. So these SCVs are constantly falling and they're not able to mine either. And Goswser user is just amassing so many Banelings. That's a lot of Banelings. He's got 23 Banelings morphing in here. In the center of the map, the Mutalisks are still harassing and keeping all these Marines at home. But I really think this might be the killing blow. We've got so many Banelings marching in here. We've got 23 Banelings in the middle of the map, and we still got the Mutalisks harassing on the left side, keeping the Marines distracted. And Goswser user has a 70 supply advantage, and I don't see how Lucifron's going to be able to hold off this attack. But Lucifron is a very gifted player. He may be able to do this, but instead Lucifron's actually going to move out. He's saying a good defense is a better offense, and he's just going to meet these Zerglings and Banelings head on. The Banelings do not get good connections at the beginning. Are they going to get better connections now? There we go. 2 great connections by the Banelings. And all these Marines are falling to the green acid, and Lucifron identifies he's not going to be able to come back. There's 24 roaches in this army. So look at that. After being down 0-2, Goswser user was able to win a marathon 3rd game, gets to the 4th, able to win a much quicker 4th game, and now the series is tied. It's match point for both players. So even though you're 1 game away from elimination, if you keep trying and you keep playing, anything can happen. And Goswser user is going to be rewarded with the Game 5. So let's check out that game and see who comes out on top.